Minnesota appears to be a quiet state, but beneath its frozen lakes and endless forests, there are stories that were never meant to exist. Located in the northern United States, surrounded by extreme nature and isolated towns, this state has been the setting of unexplained disappearances, strange phenomena, and legends that still send chills down the spine. Today, we're going to explore 10 of the most enigmatic mysteries in the state of Minnesota. From creatures that defy logic to events no one has ever been able to explain. And some of them remain unsolved to this day. And to begin this journey, we'll start with one of the most intriguing cases, not because it's the most famous, but because it's one of the oldest. In 1898, a Swedish farmer named Olof Oman uncovered a massive stone buried on his land near the small town of Kensington, Minnesota. The stone was covered in strange runic inscriptions, which allegedly told the story of Norse explorers venturing deep into North America in the year 1362. If authentic, it would suggest that Vikings reached the continent's interior well over a century before Christopher Columbus. Since its discovery, the Kensington runestone has sparked intense debate among historians, linguists, and archaeologists alike. Some experts argue that the stone contains modern linguistic anomalies impossible in the 14th century, while others claim the inscriptions match obscure, ancient Nordic dialects barely known at the time. Today, the stone remains on display, its authenticity still hotly contested. Is it evidence of a forgotten Viking expedition, or one of the most elaborate historical hoaxes ever created? For decades, one of the most disturbing cases associated with Minnesota was the so-called Minnesota Iceman. It was a humanoid body preserved in ice and displayed at traveling fairs and exhibitions during the 1960s. At first glance, the creature did not resemble a modern human. Its appearance was closer to that of an ancient hominid: a low, sloping forehead, a pronounced jaw, a robust body structure, and a shorter stature than the average human. The body was completely naked. What unsettled observers was not only its appearance, but its state of preservation. Several doctors and scientists who were allowed brief examinations claimed that the tissues did not appear ancient. They lacked the level of decay expected from a body that had been dead for thousands of years. This led to a deeply unsettling hypothesis. The creature may not have died in prehistoric times, but only a few decades earlier. If true, this would imply that a being with clearly non-modern characteristics could have existed alongside humans in relatively recent history. To this day, no one knows whether the Minnesota Iceman was an elaborate hoax or evidence that something we believed long extinct may have survived far longer than we ever imagined. On May 14, 2008, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson was driving back home to Marshall, Minnesota after attending a party. He crashed his car into a field and called his parents for help, describing his location and assuring them he was only a few minutes from home. However, when his parents arrived at the site, Brandon had vanished without a trace. No one ever saw him again. The most unsettling aspect of the case is that his phone remained active, and the signal seemed to shift as if he were moving between different realms or dimensions while speaking. Authorities combed nearby roads, rivers, and surrounding areas, yet no evidence or footprints were found. Brandon Swanson's disappearance remains one of Minnesota's most baffling mysteries, raising chilling questions that have never been answered. Was it a simple accident, a sinister abduction, or something far beyond human understanding? His story haunts the state to this day, a reminder of how quickly reality can twist into the unknown. In the dense frozen forests of northern Minnesota, the Ojibwa and Cree peoples have long told the chilling tale of the Wendigo, a legendary creature tied to hunger, madness, and malevolence. It is described as a skeletal figure, Grayish skin stretched tightly over its bones, with empty, haunting eyes and an insatiable appetite for human flesh. Numerous hunters and hikers have reported hearing eerie, inhuman screams or catching fleeting glimpses of tall, thin figures moving silently among the trees during moonless nights. Some witnesses claim to feel an icy presence following them, as though the creature watches silently, filling their minds with dread and despair. The Wendigo is more than a legend. For those who have experienced strange encounters, it embodies the most primal form of terror, a stark reminder that even in seemingly peaceful wilderness, some secrets were never meant to be disturbed. Its chilling whispers linger in the northern woods, haunting anyone daring enough to enter. In 1977, the historic Glensheen Mansion in Duluth, Minnesota, became the scene of a shocking crime that rocked the state. Elizabeth Congdon, the mansion's owner, and her nurse, Velma Piatila, were found brutally murdered within the confines of their own home. The case stunned investigators not only due to its violence, but also because of its meticulous nature. The killer was intimately familiar with the mansion, planning the attack with precision, attempting to cover tracks and mislead authorities. During the trial, family secrets, financial tensions, and betrayals came to light, revealing a web of hidden motives that no one had anticipated. Even though a culprit was convicted, many details of the murders remain shrouded in mystery. The mansion itself has become a focal point for ghost tours, tales of lingering spirits and whispers that echo through its ornate halls. The Glensheen murders stand as a chilling modern legend, a stark reminder that even the grandest, most luxurious homes can conceal darkness within their walls. Its story continues to haunt Minnesota, captivating the imagination of those drawn to mysteries of human nature and the unknown. Gray Cloud Island, located along the Mississippi River in southeastern Minnesota, is celebrated for its natural beauty, yet it holds unsettling stories that have endured for generations. Residents and visitors have reported strange occurrences, including unexplained disappearances and eerie sounds echoing through the dense forest at night. Some speak of mysterious lights hovering above the river, seemingly without origin, and shadowy figures moving silently among the trees, vanishing as suddenly as they appear. One of the most famous tales tells of a fisherman who ventured out onto the river one night and never returned. His boat was found days later, adrift and showing signs of struggle, but no trace of the man himself was ever recovered. Gray Cloud Island remains a chilling mystery, a place where the serene landscape conceals dark secrets that defy explanation. The island continues to captivate and terrify, preserving a legend of the unknown that still resonates among the local communities of Minnesota. It is a stark reminder that sometimes the most peaceful places can hide the most disturbing truths. In southwestern Minnesota lies the Jeffers Petroglyphs, an ancient site carved into red rock by indigenous peoples centuries ago. These carvings depict humans, animals, and mysterious symbols whose meanings have puzzled archaeologists and historians for decades. Visitors and researchers alike have reported eerie sensations while walking among the stones, describing whispers in the wind and the feeling of unseen eyes watching their every move. Some even claim to hear faint chanting or footsteps when no one else is around. What makes Jeffers so unsettling is not just its age or artistry, but the sense that these symbols might hold a secret, a message lost to time. Every line etched into the rock seems purposeful, as if meant to warn, protect, or perhaps communicate with something beyond human comprehension. The Jeffers Petroglyphs remain one of Minnesota's most mysterious locations, a place where history, legend, and the unexplained converge. For those who visit, the experience is haunting, leaving a lingering question. What did these ancient artists truly intend to convey? Before we dive into the top 3, if you're enjoying this video, show your support with a like. It really helps the channel a lot. And if you love mysteries like these, subscribe, because this is just getting started. In 1989, Minnesota was shaken to its core by the disappearance of 11-year-old Jacob Wetterling, who was walking home with his brother and a friend after buying snacks in St. Joseph. That night, an armed man appeared seemingly out of nowhere, separating the children and abducting Jacob. For decades, the community lived with uncertainty, while law enforcement pursued every possible lead. They interviewed neighbors, searched forests and roads, and followed theories that came and went without producing results. Jacob's case profoundly changed the way the United States viewed child safety, inspiring stricter laws, nationwide alerts, and awareness campaigns to protect minors, demonstrating that danger could lurk even in small, seemingly peaceful towns. Finally, in 2016, after 27 years of unanswered questions, new evidence and confessions revealed the tragic truth. Jacob had been murdered shortly after his abduction. Although the mystery was finally solved, the memory of Jacob remains a haunting reminder of the fragility of innocence and the darkness that can silently hide even in places that appear safe, leaving a lasting impact on the community and the nation's collective conscience. Devil's Kettle, located in Judge C.R. Magny State Park, is not mysterious because of legends or paranormal stories, but because of something far more unsettling. Science cannot fully explain it. At this point, the Brule River splits in two. One branch continues normally, while the other plunges into a deep hole known as Devil's Kettle. The problem is that no one has been able to determine where that water goes. For decades, scientists and explorers have dropped dye, floating objects, and even tracking devices into the kettle. None of them have ever reappeared downstream. According to known geology, a cavity like this should not be able to absorb such a volume of water without revealing a detectable exit. Hydrological models suggest the water should resurface somewhere, alter the river's flow, or leak through measurable underground channels. Yet, none of this happens. The river continues as if that massive amount of water had simply vanished. That is the real mystery, a natural anomaly that challenges what we understand about rivers, caves, and underground systems, and one that remains without a definitive explanation to this day. On the cold night of August 27, 1979, police officer Val Johnson was patrolling the rural roads of Warren, Minnesota, when he experienced an encounter that would defy all explanation. According to his account, a strange light appeared in the middle of the road, blinding him and seemingly projecting him inside his patrol vehicle. The impact left his car damaged and Johnson unconscious for several minutes. Upon waking, he noticed unexplained bruises, burns, and a watch stopped at the exact time of the incident. Official investigations failed to provide a logical explanation, and the case quickly became one of the most documented UFO encounters in the United States. Investigators noted that the phenomenon did not match any known aircraft. To this day, the Val Johnson incident remains shrouded in mystery, sparking debates about the existence of extraterrestrial life and the secrets that might be hidden above the skies of Minnesota. These were 10 of the most enigmatic mysteries of Minnesota. But this state still holds many more stories. Which of these cases made you think the most? And from which other state would you like us to explore its mysteries? Leave it in the comments, because this journey is only just beginning.